Hey everyone. All right, you ask and I will give. And that is a look at all of my albums. I'm going to show you my son and daughter's both first and second year album. And then I don't really have another album that's fully completed. I just have random layouts, even going back all the way from 1998. But I thought this was even a perfect time with, asking what you guys wanted to see. And then of course, wanting to see all that older paper that I use and how I use it with newer stuff. It's going to be a better time because I'm leaving on vacation. So it is Saturday. I just got done already showing you guys one album share. And I'm going to kind of stagnate this while I'm on vacation to give you guys something to watch while I am away. We're just kind of doing a little mini vacation. It's actually it's not really much of a vacation because we are going there for some reasons, and that is to Idaho. So yeah, we are going to be out there. And just for 4 days, and then I'll be back. But I also have some commitments that I have to do as well. So let me just knock out all this filming for you guys and show you my daughter's second year. All right, so this is her second year, and I used a lot of crepe paper. It's that little U that I was telling you that I bought, even though I was halfway done through my daughter's album, her first year. So like I said, I find ways to incorporate using that kind of stuff. And I just basically did this for a kind of like a title page, or not really so much. It's not really a title, but just a looking back on her being little. This was at the hospital. This is actually right after I had her. And yeah, so let's move forward. But basically I just did, a lot of layering. I made my own fringe heart. I think it was Maggie Holmes that did this, and I saw that people were making it, and I thought, why not give it a try? And I did it. And this is kind of when I had somewhat of a working sewing machine. You guys all know I have been wanting one forever, and I think I may be in the market to get one for like under $100. So anyway, so here's this layout, and I did a little bit of inking on this foam that said This Moment. Sorry, the back is going to be scary, but this is kind of like how it is on my in my album. I do have to take it out of the pocket pages because what I use as far as my stand for my recording for my phone, I only have so much room and I don't have enough for the actual album. But I also don't want to have a glare on the screen, causing glare for you guys. So I just took them all out of the album, and then I'll just put them all back in. All right, so here again is a layout of my kids. This is when I had like the sewing machine. It was not that great. My mom, who is a sewer, was even trying to get it to work. So it's kind of not that great, but it's gone in the trash since then, because I even paid to get it fixed, and it just it couldn't be fixed. So anyways, moving on. Here is another, Chatterbox, guys. Oh, so yes, this is Chatterbox. So see, I'm so glad I brought this out. All right, so here's a way that I use Chatterbox. Look, I'm using Elle Studio. I'm using Studio Calico labels. This was by Freckled Fawn. They're felts, and just kind of, like I said, I always say this, pick out the colors that are in that collection and start shopping your stash to see what would match. And that's what I did here. Used wood veneers. That's always easy. Buttons. I do have the Chatterbox buttons that go with their collection. But yeah, I just realized that. Here's more Chatterbox. Just using simple, designs. Like I said before, you could use dies, punches, any of that to use with that paper to create layouts. And always, it just gives it a classic look. Honestly, it doesn't matter how old the paper is. I have used paper since 1998 with my current layouts, and people will say, oh my gosh, that paper is awesome. And I'm like, it's from 1998. So you can make it work. Just mix your new with your old and you are all set. All right, so here's another, this is very whimsical. I had fun with this one. This kind of reminds me of how I first started scrapbooking, where it was kind of themed and you kind of you know, use your own die cuts to create layouts. And that's what I did for this one. And I like the whimsicalness of it, of my kids playing in the, it wasn't really a backyard. It was a townhome that we rented. That was my friend, they had owned it. And so this was, yeah, it was their little backyard, their little oasis to play in. All right, so I did leave the pocket pages and page protectors because there's no real way to share it all in one except for doing it just that. But this is when I started, like I said, working with Project Life in a month-to-month format. So this one was the first one I did. I actually incorporated April and May, and this was for both sides. Oh no, June. So this was April and May. I didn't have enough pictures, so I just kind of tied them all together, and I'm okay with that. Did little journaling. I started doing this in the very beginning, and I kind of stopped, which was just kind of matching the numbers with the bullet journaling, but it actually looks cute like that, I think. I might go back to it. All right, so then I worked on June 6, added stamping, using Studio Calico, so using actual Project Life cards with 6x6 cards, and paper from way back, how long ago again, Desiree? Over 20 years, guys. You can make it work. I just pick out a certain color palette. This is what I started off with, and that was my jumping off point to start pulling from my stash with all those colors. All right, here's another page that I did. This was by, I think, Crate Paper, and I don't have very many pages of, I didn't get this whole collection because there was a time period when I stopped scrapbooking. So I was scrapbooking from 1998 till 2006, I want to say. That's when I found out I was pregnant with my son, and I was reading all the pregnancy books. That's all I did, was just read pregnancy books. I was so nervous. I think a lot of us first-time moms, when we find out we're pregnant, at least I was so nervous. I thought I was going to fail. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to my child? Like, I need to know exactly everything I need to do. And then by the second one, I'm like, I'm a pro. I got this. Oh, that fell on the ground. Don't even worry about it. You're good. So, yeah. All right. And see, just like with double-sided pattern paper, if I'm not going to use, I always look at both sides and figure out which side I like the most, and that is the side I go with. Same thing with one-sided pattern paper. If I don't like it, I just turn it over and use it as the white cardstock. So I don't let, I mean, I will say this over and over again, I don't let anything go to waste. I don't know if it's just the time I was born. Back then, like, I mean, my grandparents came from, you know, the Great Depression, and just, that's how I was kind of raised and brought up. So use what you have and make it work. All right, so here's some more, just another fun page. I just basically got these on, like, made them smaller size, and then had it like a, oh, what do I want to, like a film strip. All right, so this is when I was actually coming back, I think, from scrapbooking. Was it? I don't remember. Anyways, I used not a cut apart sheet. Sometimes if I don't have a lot of product to go with a collection, I might have just purchased like a 12 by 12 paper that I could actually cut out the flowers, like such as this, and make these embellishments, and that's what I did here. Did some stamping on a page. I can't believe I was that brave to do it, but I did it, including writing. Even my journaling, sometimes I mean, I do this a lot. It's crazy because now I'm like, no, I'm going to print. I don't want to make a mess. I guess every once in a while I do that. I do a lot more with journaling on my Project Life cards. I do that a lot, and I also print on them as well, but I don't journal so much straight onto the layout anymore. All right, so just another fun page. You know, did some stamping as far as a border, just kind of look to see what I have. I always look to see what I have and how I can use it for a layout if I'm stumped and I'm trying to figure out what to do, what can I do differently. This was fun. This was when I first came onto the Crafty Maven, sorry, I'm like putting up my hair. My hair is getting everywhere. Crafty Maven design team, and I was like, I made it. I was so nervous. It was my first design team being on a design team. And I thought, how can I create this wow layout? And I remembered that one layout that I did where I did my own journaling, or not my own journaling, I did my own cursive writing for Together, and I did that. Well, this I think I had it printed. Somehow I followed a design on, gosh, this was so long ago. I think I either had paper that I use a die cut machine to die cut the letters, and then I punched it, because obviously this is not my handwriting. I think that's what I did, is I used the die cutting machine to print out my title, and then I just traced or poked holes around it. And that stitching took me for, oh my gosh, several days. It was a lot. Yeah, I can see all that mess back there. All right, so here is another page, you know, that I was experimenting with mixed media. Really fun one. This is the Simple Stories. It's one of their summer collections. Man, they always put out good summer collections. And this was when I bought mixed media from Shimmers. It was their modeling paste. And man, I love their modeling paste. But like any modeling paste from any company, it dries up so quick if you don't use it. And I was so bummed because more than half I had to throw out because it just got hard. I have heard and read about that it's discontinued. So if you find it, you're lucky. It's the Heidi Swapp tubes. I heard the tubes do not. And I think that any company that's making modeling paste need to go to the tubes then, because it's a bummer when you have to throw it all out. And I'm not one of those ones that's going to make every single layout using that modeling paste until it's gone. So I like to use it here and there. All right, so here's another pocket page again, just working on for the month of July. This is, I noticed this right away, this is Ali Edwards. So I must have started my Ali Edwards kit last year, and it came with the stamp. This was the story by the month, which is a great, if you're wanting to try Project Life. I think it's $13.99. It comes with a stamp every month and just a few cards. So like for me, I think the most layouts I got out of it was 2, using all of the cards, but I did have to also add a couple of papers to it in order to complete 2 layouts, which wasn't a big deal. All right, so here's just working on another one. I think this might be, nope, this is August Vibes. So this is the month of August. Oh, she loved corn. All right, so here, this is such a cute one. This hat is, I don't know if I journal it. I don't think I journal it on this one, but I talk about this hat because she loved this hat so much that she would wear it everywhere. It didn't matter if it matched her outfit, because you know, they're babies, they don't know. And she would sleep with it like it was a stuffy. That's how much she loved this thing. So I got her pictures of that. And then here's another one. This was My Mind's Eye Indie, I think it was, collection, which is such a beautiful collection. I added some wood veneers, used my stencil with some modeling paste. And you know, one great thing about modeling paste is if you buy just the white, you can pretty much mix any of the liquid into that to give you, it might kind of change the color a little bit, but I've never not liked how it turned out. And yeah, so that's how I create my modeling paste now. The only bummer is it doesn't give the shimmer, not like a Shimmers product. So that part is bummed. Now, one thing I try to do, especially when I have a lot of something, such as these hearts. Now, you might not remember from the first album share, I had one of these heart paper clips. I try to add that in every layout so that way it gets used versus like trying to do it every couple of layouts, just so that way I kind of stretch it all out and it kind of gets forgotten. So next time doing a flip through, you know, she's like, oh, that's cute or whatever, and she doesn't realize that it's on almost every album. Just how I get rid of my products. All right, so then here's another layout that I did. This one was a fun one too. This is when they had those little shopping carts that look like little cars to help you. I get them cookies at my local grocery store. They give out free cookies to the little ones, and I would give them cookies while they were in the car, and off we'd go grocery shopping, and it made things so much easier. All right, so here's another one that I did. This is, again, using Chatterbox, and this doesn't even have a whole lot of embellishments. This is using, I think, Maggie Holmes with my Chatterbox, kind of bringing in some new colors on top of that, because purple is a rare sight in the scrapbooking world. And so I just had some pinks. I had some of that mint green, and then we have more of like a turquoise green. Yeah. So fun when they used to let me take 1,000,000 pictures and not see anything. Now it's like, all right, Mom, we'll let you take 2, but if they don't turn out, that's it. And I'm like, really? Come on. And usually they will. They don't, if they're really bad, or they'll like, if they're really bad, they'll let me take more than 2. But most of the time they're smiling and being like, okay, let's get this done. We're going to get this so we can move on and check out whatever it is that we're checking out. All right, so here again, I'm just keep on using that monthly theme. And like I said, this just helps me tie in all those other stories that did not get a layout, because my goodness, if I was to scrapbook every single page or every single photo on every single page, she would have like over 100 albums. Both of them would. So this just helps me kind of condense it all and get it all tied up into one album. As far as that year, I am noticing though that, especially now, I probably can get 2, like currently, I could probably get 2 years worth in one album. But yeah, she loved Backyardigans, both her and her brother, and she would play with them up on the windowsill. Nope, I didn't even show the back. I'm so used to being this one-sided for the 12 by 12 paper. All right, so then here's another pocket page, again, just using old Studio Calico with Ali Edwards. I notice there's a lot of similarity that they have with each other, so that's always good to combine. I love combining. All right, so here's something that's really old. How many of you guys remember asparagus? Something asparagus. What is it called? Let me look. Is it wild asparagus? Let me turn on the fan real quick, because out here in California, it's getting to be 90 at like 10 o'clock. All right, so wild asparagus, no embellishments except for these, I don't know, they were just basically a strip of words, and this one was Treasure, Door, and Together, and I just cut them up and added them together. I went through just like I did on my video where I talked to you about how to build a kit from a collection that doesn't have any embellishments made for that collection, and that is shopping my stash, looking at every single thing I own, just about. There's some things I don't go to, but that's because I kind of already know, and that is what I did here. I shopped everything. I found these letter stickers that matched the blue and this one as well, and I believe it might have been My Mind's Eye or Jen Hadfield, I don't remember, but I was like, okay, so all I have is just letters, and that's what I'm going to use. I could have added wood veneers. That's another thing I could have added. Stamping. I'm trying to think of other products that I mentioned. Always neutrals are always good, can match anything, but this was a lot, and I am finding I am not a one photo scrapper. I mean, I kind of did when I took a break from scrapbooking, like I said, in 2006, and I didn't come back to it. In fact, I don't even think I mentioned that when I was talking about it earlier. Sorry, there is so much to say that I sometimes like forget everything that I want to say. But I took a break from, if I started in 1998, I took a break in 2006 to have, because I was found out I was pregnant with my son, and then I didn't get back to scrapbooking till 2013. That's a big gap. And I had all this old supplies, and when I went on to 2Ps, man, the scrapbooking had changed, because I went from having just paper and no embellishments really to having full-on collections with matching letter stickers, embellishments, and brads. And it was, yeah, I went shopping those years. Like, I definitely caught up on the time I wasn't shopping. I made up for it big time. All right, so now Moving on, this is really old paper. I don't even know who it was by, and it's glued down, but I'm sure I have, maybe this was crepe, or not crepe paper, Chatterbox too. It could have been Chatterbox. Anytime I have this really thin paper, I back it up with cardstock that I'm not really too crazy about the color, or I have so much of it. And I have a lot of colored cardstock because I talk about how that was pretty much only what was available back when I started. And so I have no problems just using a whole sheet of cardstock to mount and back up my thin paper to make it more solid. And, you know, again, with this Chatterbox or whatever this company is that I didn't have anything to it, but I believe it is Chatterbox. I just used my stamps. I added enamel dots. I mean, this is by Freckled Fawn. You know, again, finding that color, using it, and having the background just a neutral color. This is even considered neutral, even though there's no orange in this. It's just the color works with these. It's a very kind of more modern day of fall, because our fall is no longer typically the orange and brown and yellow. So I use these old paper Bliss, all of them, to create this layout, and I finished up that package. So I think there was only 3 of them in there. And this is of my kids. This was for her first time trick-or-treating, so she's just wearing a shirt. And then my son's, yeah, first time trick-or-treating for both of them. And this is just a 6x12, so I didn't really have a whole lot of photos. My husband was about ready to walk out and take them around the complex. And then here they are, one of our neighbors that were like, you better bring them over so they can get some candy. So I was like, okay. So no tricks, just treats, because they were too little. And then I just thought of this idea of just adding journaling on the banners. I thought that would be fun. So that's what I did, which again, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I was brave. All right, so then going back, bottle caps. Remember bottle caps? I love them. You could use your Big Shot to flatten them. So you know, they do have a lot of dimension, but if you run it through, you can actually flatten it like this. And yeah, I have not had any type of indentation, like ruining the next page in front of it at all. But man, I have a ton of those that I bought way back then. Someone made a whole bunch and I purchased them. I was like, yes, give me. Oh no. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to glue that. Okay. I mean, I know, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna staple it. Let's just staple it, Desiree, while I have you guys here. And that's what I'm gonna do. All right, that looks good to me. So yeah, here's just of my kids. This, even though this was before, actually I think they had school that day. And so this is what they wore. I don't think, they might have been able to wear costumes, but I just got them matching shirts from Gymboree way back then when they were in business. And yeah, the eyes glowed in the dark. They're so cute. And then really quick, hope you guys don't mind. I'm like, actually I'll do it later. I'm gonna make sure I put some washi tape on that. Let's make a note to myself. All right, so then here's, okay, I thought it was, I didn't know which way that went. All right, so here's the next page of my daughter and I, and yeah, I just used stencils. Gosh, I love stencils, and just kind of tied all the colors together, and yeah, a lot of fun. Did some layering, love tickets. Tickets are always a thing with me. I don't know what white stamp I used, but that turned out really nice. And I've talked about this where I just threw away a whole bunch of stamp pads. They were all dried up. I barely even used them. I have a really hard time with using white stamp ink because it smears and or fades. It doesn't really stay like this. So I'm actually shocked that this did, especially on the Canon Selfie paper. So from what I learned and what I've heard is I have to get some type of paper that absorbs it. So it's a certain type of paper in order to stamp white ink on it. So I'm gonna have to look into that. All right, again, just using those pocket pages to, you know, what is that, glue? Huh, okay. of just incorporating, you know, the month of November. And this is what I love about this, is it really helped me speed up my process. So I would pick out the couple of layouts that I wanted to do in 12 by 12, and the rest would go into Pocket Pages. And not every single layout would go, or not layout, every single photo would not go into a Pocket Page. There's some that are a lot on my computer that did not get scrapped, and that's okay. There are ones that maybe they weren't the best, or they weren't really that important of it. It was just a, you know, my daughter walking or something, and, you know, down a hallway, and I just like snapped a picture just because. So it wasn't like any major milestones or anything like that. All right, so this is just during Christmas time, getting all, you know, ready for Christmas. This was a family photo that we did, which, man, we really need to do more, because I've only taken 2 photos since two family photos. We've only taken them twice by professional photographers, and this one really was just the indoors. It was Picture People or something like that. And then this is of a house that was right by us, and he didn't do it these last couple years. I'm a little worried about him. Sweet man, and his wife. His daughter passed away at a young age, and so he started putting out Christmas ornaments every year, and every year it get more and more, and he would add to it. And it was because he was trying to make his house as bright as can be so she could see from up above. It was just a really sweet story. So a lot of people come to see it, and unfortunately he hasn't in the past couple years, and I just hope he's okay. All right, moving on. Here's another photo. This is again really old paper. I want to say maybe Karen Foster, or I can't think of that other lady's name. But anyways, really, Susan Branch, that's what I was thinking, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, wait a minute, that's Susan Branch. Susan Branch paper, and again, I just mount it on, you know, cardstock, and that way, you know, it's not so flimsy anymore. And even sometimes when I don't do that, because there has been times when I don't, it's okay, because it's already backed up anyways, and it's in a sheet protector, and it's already behind another, or yeah, on top of another paper. So either way, this was a real fun color palette that I don't use very often, because we don't have a lot of purple. We need more lilac. We need more lavender, more. Companies need to get with it, because I love it. All right. So isn't this funny? So this is a camping collection, and I love the wood grain so much that I made this into a layout of my for my kids of a Christmas. So camping on one side, but yet I turned it into a Christmas layout. And this was all simple stories. All right, so here's Christmas again. Not very many photos. I always got to waste so much going on. It's always I get photos of them opening their presents, and then I'm like, okay, and then I got to start cooking and all that stuff. So, all right, so then here's the next one in January. Look at how cute. I don't even know what they were watching. I was trying to figure out what they were watching so I could incorporate that into their album, because I've talked about this before. I don't have a whole lot of photos of their favorite toys. This was one of them. I know. I mean, there's sometimes I get pictures in the background of it, but I really try to document like what their favorite cartoons were at that time, you know, by just taking a screenshot of, you know, I look it up on IMDb, take a screenshot of it, and now I'm incorporating it into their Pocket Pages, just because I wish I would have gotten better photos of them with their favorite toys. But that's okay. At least I have what I have. I always look at it in a positive way. All right, now moving on. This was a cute picture. He had his big boy bed, and they thought it was the craziest thing. They were always jumping around in it. And they're like, can we sleep together? I'm like, no, she's still too little. She might fall out of bed. So, yeah, my world. Is that where I put it? No. This was a sticker. Oh, how funny. Okay. So you know what? Even stickers, adhesive. If you watched my last album share, I talked about this adhesive. And you know what? I'm starting to find out might as well just glue down everything, because even adhesive on stickers go away. And that's not fun. And it definitely was not fun after I got done filming that video for you guys of me spending probably a good hour gluing everything back down. I mean, piece by piece. It was not fun. I'd rather be creating or sharing videos with you guys. So, all right, here's another one. This is of our home that we purchased. It was our very first home. And there's a huge story about that on here, but about basically what my grandfather taught me about saving. And it took us a very long time. And we actually are still in our home that we are in today. But yeah, it was a very important story that I wanted to pass on to my kids. So, and here is another 6 by 12 of their Valentine's Day. My mom sent them because, like I said, my family doesn't live here. So she sent them Valentine's Day cards that she made by the mail. And then they were so cute. They were all excited. And I think she had like little candy in there as well. And then of course, we don't really celebrate Valentine's Day too much. I mean, I would always have something for them by their bed. And that's just how I grew up. But I'm curious, how did you guys celebrate Valentine's Day? I mean, they're too old for it now, but I'm just curious because, you know, grandkids thinking in the future. But yeah, I made cupcakes. Cupcakes was my thing when they were this little. And they would have like a little few things from the Dollar Tree that, like, you know, crayons and artwork. All right, this is something that I did not too long ago. I think it was right before my break from YouTube. I love this layout. There are some layouts that I absolutely love. There's some layouts that I'm like, they're okay. And especially like a few of my 1998 ones. I don't ever go back though, because I love to see how I started or how I did something, even if it wasn't my favorite, because that's just the mind frame that I was in. And so this was my favorite. I had so much fun. I used a stencil for this background. I think I used several colors and they even kind of started blending together, and I just loved the look of it. And I titled it The Sound of Music because she thought that was so neat, of the little iPod that I had music on there that she could listen to. So cute. All right, so then we have my next one. This is again using that Little You collection that I said that I was a little bummed that I didn't use it for her first year album because it didn't exist. But I found ways to still use it, and I'm so glad because it's so darn cute. Just really simple little muted colors with little pops of color of light pink and mint, and the wood grain. I love wood grain. I love the lighter wood grain. I mean, the darker one does too work for me at times, but for like everyday projects, that light wood grain is just gorgeous. All right, so here's another one of her first haircut. I believe this was a sketch that I followed where it was just a bunch of squares, and I thought, what better way to get rid of some of my scraps than doing something like this? And it really was. I mean, it got rid of a lot. Added some felt stickers that belong to this collection as well. And even though it's about a haircut, does it not have to be, you know, haircut themed paper or anything like that. This works too. And all right, so this is my daughter's second year, her second birthday, and I basically it was a sketch that the sketch showed the strips, these like a branding strips basically going all the way across, and had two circle elements or something like that. And I just basically took that, squished it down into just one section, and then created my layout. I love big numbers, although now that she's 12, I can't really do that anymore. And just like anything else, I incorporate just a little pocket page of her special day of being 2. And yep, there's her with her cousin. And then look at that, guys. For all of my 80s friends that were in the 80s like me, Strawberry Shortcake. And I still have that DVD of the original cartoon. I think it has 2 episodes on it. And man, I still wish I had my Strawberry Shortcake collection. All right, so that is the album share of her 1 going to 2. So this is her second album. that I did, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. It just helps me know if you guys like that content that I'm sharing. Also helps, you know, for other viewers to find me as well when I have likes. And if you are new to the channel, I do hope that you do consider subscribing, because I would love to have you here. Me, the more the merrier. I love scrapbooking so much. I love this community. Been with it for a long time, way back in the day where I would belong to Creative Keepsakes Forum. I would chat with everybody there. And then of course it moved to Two Peas in a Bucket, and I loved that one as well. And now we're just kind of all over, we're everywhere now. And it's a little harder. I liked it when it was more contained, because I do get overwhelmed belonging with a ton of groups, but you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world, because I love this hobby so much and I love chatting with you guys. So, all right, remember, I'm gone on vacation. I'm not even here. I recorded it before I took off, but I do hope that you enjoyed this. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you when I get back. Bye.